Stop putting energy into being liked and just put energy into being yourself. As people pleasers, as people that want to be liked and accepted, we often are thinking, what can I do to get them to like me? Subconsciously, most of the time. Or, hey, I know they like this thing, so I'm going to mention this thing. Yo, our differences, the unique parts of us are what make us so awesome and cool. So just be yourself instead. Because often we're trying to get other people to like us through acting a certain way, through morphing ourselves and becoming a chameleon. But how do we even know they're going to like that version? And what happens when the mask falls down and it's just left with who we really are? Or do you even know who you really are yet? And is that why you're morphing yourself? Hi, I'm Kendall. This is Joy with Kendall. And I'm acting weird because this episode is really just exposing myself. Because my entire life growing up, I always thought to myself, and this isn't on a conscious level, but subconsciously I felt like, oh, if I just morph my likes to their likes, then they'll like me more. Or whatever the case is. And even now, I'll catch myself going into that thought pattern of like, oh, do they think I'm annoying? Oh, do they like me? And then I'm like, wait, do I even like them? But for real, we abandon ourselves so much and we try to impress people we don't even care about. And I'm not saying we don't care about them, but there are people's opinions that we shouldn't care about. And it is valid and it is important to care about some people's opinions, right? Like, of course we want to impress our friends and our family members, but why are we trying to impress little Jimmy that we've talked to 3 times? Question. So anyways, today's episode is all about being ourselves and not warping ourselves and trying to get people to like us. Because let me tell you, I've been on both ends of the spectrum of morphing myself, trying to be liked, and that was a time of life I never felt like I fit in anywhere. No freaking wonder I was never being myself. But now that I feel like I'm actually being myself and I'm letting people meet me where I'm at, they might love me, they might hate me. But I think what I've realized is that I feel so much more loved from myself and then in return from other people too, because I'm being myself. So I'm actually making authentic friendships now because I'm being myself. So now it's like, oh, we really do vibe. We really do get along. You know, it's not just based off of what I think they would like or who I think I have to be friends with them. And I think too, as I've built my independence, I rely less on needing others for that fulfillment in my life. And if you're listening and you're like, okay, but how do I act like myself? I'm really nervous. I just want people to like me. I'm afraid of rejection. All of that resistance is going to come up for freaking sure. But it's your responsibility to just have the courage to feel it out, remind yourself that you're safe and create a new story, which takes time. It's not easy. But for me, it just took really reaffirming myself because I knew deep down, like I was going into these settings super quiet. And yes, it does take me a minute to like warm up, but I'm not an anxious person around people. I'm crazy. When I say I'm crazy, I'm just mean I'm a weirdo. And this year I've been going into new spaces, just being myself. And it made me realize, like, I think a lot of the rejection and resistance has been in my head, especially from it happening in school growing up. You kind of carry those beliefs into adulthood thinking if I act like myself, I'm going to get rejected. And I think too, what I've realized is that if I get rejected for being myself, I don't want to be in that space. I'll find a new space. You know what I mean? And I think that's something we all need to remind ourselves. Like if there are people that are making us feel awful about being ourselves, we're not meant to be around them. Maybe they haven't met their authentic self yet, so they're judging us when we're being authentic. It's just important to remind ourselves everything is a projection. Everything everyone says and does to us, it's a freaking projection of how they feel about themselves. And I think that's a big way that I broke out of the resistance of just being myself and not caring what people thought of me. And trust me, that still comes up all the time. I'm like, ooh, am I annoying this person from being myself? But I just let myself show up anyways. And again, it's that reassuring yourself. Because a lot of people are like, how do you do this? How do you do this? But the asking the how is pretty much them just saying, how can you make this easy? Because of course you don't want to push yourself out of your comfort zone and be yourself and open yourself up for rejection. But if you open yourself up to rejection, you're actually opening yourself up to the deepest love you've ever experienced too. Because when you allow yourself to be fully seen as you are, you're allowing people to fully love you and meet you as you are. Because I remember, like, this past year or two, I was really desiring to feel seen, to feel loved. But you know why I wasn't feeling that way? I wasn't meeting all the parts of myself. And how am I going to expose those parts to other people too? You know what I mean? How am I going to be fully myself if I haven't even met the parts that I'm wanting to feel that love, if that makes sense? That was worded a little funny, but you have to be able to meet all parts of yourself and love them if you expect other people to do that too. And that's a hard pill to swallow because, of course, we want other people to meet our needs, but we have to meet our needs first. We do. And two, we can't always rely on other people to give that to us. And for me, I had to meet those parts of myself. I had to love myself before I feel like it manifested in front of me, right? Like, I met my deepest, most authentic self, and now I have these really deep friendships that are blossoming because of that. But you got to be patient with the process because it does take time. And sometimes it means weeding out people in your life that are keeping you from being your most authentic self. Maybe you have people in your life that are making you shrink down and you don't even know it yet. All it really takes to be yourself is courage. Courage and moving past the fear and being yourself anyways. And there might be times where you go through waves where you feel yourself shrinking down again and then being yourself and then, ooh, like I'm going to shrink down. And, you know, you have to move through those waves of resistance in order to break free from your limiting beliefs. And that's also how we figure out who we are too. Because I think through some of my performativeness, I kind of found what parts of me really aren't me and what parts of me really are me. I'm typically really energetic, but there are days when I'm not, and I'm just a little bit more mellow. And I've talked about this before in previous episodes where being authentic for me also means being quiet when I'm not feeling energetic. And that's how we all should be. Like, I wear my heart on my sleeve, but that's not something I've always done. And now that I'm doing that, it really has made me feel more authentic. Because I remember I told my therapist, like, hey, I almost feel imposter syndrome, but like in my life. And we went into feeling like, almost like I'm a performance, my life is a performance, or maybe people aren't seeing what I'm actually experiencing. And it made me realize, oh, like people don't know when I'm sad or not doing well because I never share that and I never act the way I'm feeling. So ever since I've done that, that has been so helpful in my life and just feeling whole and integrated and like I'm worthy when I'm happy, I'm worthy when I'm sad, to myself and to others. Because I think for me, I almost hold myself to this expectation, like to be worthy, to be liked, I have to be happy. And you don't have to be happy. You don't have to be loud to be liked. You can be quiet. You can be introspective. And all of my deepest friendships, all of my most loved and cherished communities, the love they have for me and the connection they have with me has nothing to do with what mood I'm in. It has nothing to do with what I do for them. It just has to do with me and being inherently worthy, being my freaking self. And again, like these are simple, huge realizations that we overcomplicate. How? How do we do it? How can I do it? Well, ask yourself, what's the first step in your life? What is the first thing that you want to do to start integrating your authenticity and your wholeness? Because that's going to be different for everybody. And maybe you just want to notice where you feel the most authentic. Because for me, something that really helped me was thinking, okay, where do I feel like I can be 110% myself, don't have to perform? And that might be one of your best friends. It might be a brother or a sister. And for me, thinking about like my best friendships really helped me realize, okay, I want to feel like that everywhere. I want to act as authentic as I do with them as I do everywhere. And of course, there might be some resistance from that being in group settings or whatever the case may be. But allow yourself to be seen, to be perceived, even if it's scary, because great things could happen. You could make great connections. You could make lifelong friendships, but you have to allow yourself to be seen first. And I know it's scary, but just have the courage to push through and do your freaking thing. Okay. That's all I have to say for you. That's literally it. Just stop putting energy into getting people to like you and just be yourself instead. Put energy into finding out who you are and love yourself to the deepest level that you possibly can. Okay, much love. Hope you have the most magical day in the world. And I hope that you being yourself and discovering yourself is inherently going to help other people around you that see you doing your thing, help them become more deeper in love and authentic with themselves. Okay, much love. Sorry.